Okay, welcome back to the Erban Creative Channel. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And yeah, we're back with another video. Today I'm going to talk about why I chose videography over the other creative fields that I was in and why you should consider it too. As you guys can see, there's this little black thing here that might be wondering what that's about. It's actually my DJI Lav Mic 2. It works really well. I'm going to put a link at the description if you guys are interested in purchasing it. If you want to know how to use it, let me know. I'll help you out. And also, while you're down there checking that link out, make sure you check out the link for my book that I just published, Ralph to the Rescue, heartwarming story, coming of ages, 90s nostalgia. Take a look at it down there. The Amazon link is below. I'd really appreciate it. And if you gave a 5-star review, I even appreciate you more. And I know it's ironic that I'm promoting a cat book when I literally have a cow behind me, but let's talk about it. I'm over at Chris Dack's art studio. This is another new painting that he just got done that I just figured I'd use as a cool backdrop. I like it myself. I'll try to figure out what the name of the painting is and drop it in over here. And again, if you're a photographer or videographer and you need some space to shoot and you're in Brooklyn, this place is in Bushwick. Hit me up and we can be able to set you up with a cool place to shoot. So enough of that damn shameless plugless promotions. That's all I got for now, guys. So why did I choose videography other than creative fields like graphic design or web design or photography or anything like that? So let's kind of go into it a little bit. And obviously this is kind of more of a personal preference for me. I'm not knocking anyone that really dove into some of those other creative ones. And I still do them to this day for clients, but I would just say that my lean and what I really love to do and I feel like I'm really good at and what the world is, you know, everyone has a gift to bring to the world. I feel like this is one of these God-given talent gifts that I have that I do pretty good at as far as video goes. But let's delve deep into it on why I chose it and why, even for you, you should maybe consider it. So for starters, there's like a level of variance in the finished product compared to some of the other like creative fields like a graphic design or, you know, photography and everything like that. And what I mean by that is if you shoot video and you have like a video shoot, but you also have the end product where you know you got to do the video editing yourself or you hire someone to do the video editing, there's a way that like even if you everything went wrong on the video shoot, you know, and it was like rainy or you know there's some audio problems or there was like you know bad lighting and stuff like that, or just even the scenes itself came out like shaky or everything like that. The level of variance I mean by that is you have a lot of breathing room in order to like make something good out of what you shot. So if you know the video editing side, and again, even if you just hire someone, you can still review the footage and tell them exactly where to, you know, clip things out and put things out in a certain way. So like a perfect example, right, is like if the audio turned up pretty bad and then you had to go back to the client, some options that you can tell them is like, hey, well, why don't we put some animated captions that go across like the video so that, you know, it can align with the audio too. Or you take the audio out, or you even put like, say it's someone talking, but like there's bad background noise and what have you. Use some of the background music, add some background music, and then that will be able to elevate the video. At least for me, I'm not the most technical designer because again, from previous video, if you haven't had a chance, you can watch it, that I didn't go to a traditional art school to learn a lot of these programs. A lot of these programs I've learned self-taught and watching YouTube videos and stuff. So for me, I love the fact that video shoots that I have this level of, you know, variance in the sense that I can be able to basically polish something up to make it like look really good. And obviously you don't want to go into expecting that like, oh, I'm going to have a bad video shoot, but I'm just saying like when things happen wrong, you still have like a lot of leeway to clean that up and fix that up. So there's that. And that's kind of like compared to like, you know, if you did like a logo or even like a photo, it's like a still image or it's a still piece of art. And, you know, a lot of times clients get very like, particular about how this should look and everything. And, you can just kind of run yourself into like a circles trying to make sure that everything's perfect for that specific photo or that one logo design that you had to do for a client for 200 bucks.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that. I forgot. Yeah. Did you see the memo about this? Yeah.
Also, another main reason that I got into videography is that, you don't really need too much to get started. Especially nowadays, people are coming up with really cool videos just from just using their phone and maybe like a tripod with their phone or like one of those gimbals that you can place your phone onto. It's really more about how you're going to edit that video, which I suggest, and I'll probably have a separate video on that. You can start really bare bones, even if you just get one main camera, you get a tripod, and you get an adjustable lens, which I'll talk about, the mistakes I did when I first started buying some of this equipment and what I learned and what you end up using more often than not. But I'll get into that another time. Speaking of equipment, the cool thing about videography too is the equipment stays pretty valuable. And what I mean by that is it doesn't really depreciate at all. I mean, for the most part, like I bought one of my cameras that I bought that I'm using right now. I bought it during COVID, which, was like 4 years ago or so. And it's still holding its value that it was when I bought it. So a lot of this equipment that you have, it doesn't really like dramatically go down and you can resell it and, swap out for other equipment and what have you. So, you just got to start somewhere and build your base. But again, the cool thing about videography is like the equipment that you invest or the money you invest into it, you're always going to keep that value for the most part. And then, the other thing too, at least for me, is like I love the idea that I can always continuously learn about new things that happens with the videography because there's so many like facets to it. Whether it's like you're trying to figure out like the best type of lighting setup, what type of equipment you're using for that. Audio is just like a whole nother beast. Like you kind of have to be an audio engineer, so to speak, and figure out how to capture the best audio and even music and soundtracking and everything like that. And the thing is like I feel like if you do like graphic design or even like web design, you kind of stay most of the time just in those programs, whether it's like Illustrator and you just using that every single day, or like with web design you can just be doing WordPress, and yeah, you're learning maybe something about code and stuff like that, but it just kind of is not as dynamic of a range of things that you have to learn to get better and continuously improve. But like videography, you do that. There's just so many things that you can start getting really good at and try to be an expert on. And with that, always learning, there's so many damn fields that you can get into. You know what I mean? Like that's the good thing about videography as well, because you can go into the wedding industry and just be really good as a wedding videographer, or you can go into corporate and it's only events that you do, or you can kind of like, for me, I'm kind of more of a mix where I do video shoots for corporate clients, some creative, some documentary. Yeah, and like the Hollywood side of it too, the aspirational. You could really like open your mind up and figure out different roles you can get into. I know even for myself, when I first started kind of really taking it seriously, was like, I did graphic design, but once I learned like Photoshop and Illustrator, it wasn't too much of a stretch to start learning Premiere Pro. And when I started to learn and got really good at Premiere Pro, I started figuring out how to use After Effects really well. So it just slowly like graduates you up to different skill levels instead of just staying into like one software that you're using. And along with that is like I've had different roles as like, yeah, it is video editor. I have that hat on sometimes. Sometimes I'm kind of more of like the producer where I'm trying to come up with a script. And then there's the videographer itself. And then you can even graduate into a director of photography or a cinematographer when you get that real ultimate skill. So, and there's so many other different fields that you can go into with the video production that's what I love about it. And you want to know what else I love? I love the storytelling. I'm kind of a storyteller, just at heart. When you just hang out with me, I just start telling a story and I think about how the sequence of that story is going to be told, even if it's just a funny bullshitting story. you're going to have this levels of storytelling that I do. So videography, I feel, is an awesome field to like explore and learn more, because ultimately if you're good at it, you know how to storytell well, like you'll be good at videography. It isn't really about the skill. I mean, it is about the skill, obviously, but it's more so like how good are you at storytelling? And if you're like one of those people that kind of just rehearse scenes in your head, or think about like how, everything will kind of flow out from like act one to act two to act three, you're going to be a natural at this. And I know what you guys are thinking already. You know what, Eric? Why am I even bothering thinking about watching this video, or even thinking about going into videography, when there's AI robots coming out of the woodwork, and they're just taking over the world? And yes, I get it. It's a little frustrating because you're like, damn, dude, there's so much like AI stuff. There's so much like these videos that look real, and it's starting to get more like Minority Report every day, every minute. And I agree. I agree. It's something that is a threat, but also could be an opportunity. And the reason why I mentioned that is, well, for one, I feel like AI, if it's going to take over some of these other creative fields, it's probably going to do the videography one a little bit more later or last, I guess you can say. And I'll get to that point in a second. But really, like web design, graphic design, photography is kind of more over here too. But like definitely those, like I see AI just being already writing code and already being able to come up with logos, like just like in a matter of seconds. Like those industries are going to start to get a little bit harder to compete in when you do have AI. Now, what I will say about, videography when it comes to AI and how it's getting better and better, the thing to think about it is that no matter what, people still are gonna want to have like a real video of people. Like they want to have that human interaction, in a sense that, at least for me, like clients, the reason why they want to shoot a video is because they want to show their human side of their business. Like if it's a law firm that has no video presence at all, but they've been successful so far, like they're going to want to start branding and do these type of client testimonial videos and show that emotion and show how much they won for this particular client, and what they had to go through to win the case and stuff like that. So as long as that human element people are always going to want, I don't think like videography is going to go away. However, I will say that if you are going to be in this industry, you do need to start learning some of these AI tools to use it for your competitive advantage. And I won't get into too much of the depths of that right now, because that'll be a whole nother video that I'll do later on. But what I mean by that is, these businesses or these people that would want to use AI like for their business instead of a videographer, they still don't really have the time to figure it out on their own. They don't either have the time, or they just don't want to deal with it because it's too complicated. So you have to think of it in a sense that as long as it doesn't get as easy for them, that they're going to just keep using their own avatar and then just like have an interview of themselves and write a script and it automatically does it, which some AI stuff is starting to do that. But like I just don't see like clients kind of going through and actually using that all the time. But as a videographer, you're gonna have to start to like realize this technology is here, and how do you utilize it for yourself. I'll have to do a different video for some of the programs that I've used over the past few years, but there's definitely some out here that you can really do some, make some extra money and present it to the client that you're using these AI tools, and use that as a kind of like a value add for yourself. But anyhow, we'll get into that some other time. But trust me, I don't think videography or any of that stuff is going to go away anytime soon, because you want to see the real person like me right now. We're talking real to real. So there's that. Okay, that wraps it up for the reasons why I chose videography. And hopefully it gives you a little bit more perspective on why you should maybe consider it or think about it, or even just try to play around with it and do more with video, whether it's for your business or you want to start using that as a side hustle. If you want to take it a step further and you want to discuss a little bit more of how to, like, all right, where do I start? What's the kit or the type of equipment I need to use, and how do I set up a video shoot like this? Reach out to me. We have consultations that you can book, either a 30-minute or an hour. Check the calendar there and book me, and we can discuss more, and I can give you some more tips on your specific, what you really want to do, the goals that you have set up. And I have a strategy lined up and mapped up that I can tailor towards whatever you're thinking about doing and get you really pumped about doing video. Because I tell you what, sometimes it's fun to do this stuff. But anyhow, like, comment, and subscribe, please. And we'll talk to you guys again very soon. See ya.